Hello, Taurus. Sun, Moon, Rising. My dear Taurians, this is your reading for the week of July 26th, 27th. And there's a lot here, so I hope you'll stick with me. I felt pressed to do this tonight in a loving way. The first thing that I saw for you earlier today was something hanging over your shoulders like this, almost like a yoke, like you would have seen on a cow or a bull, in order to pull the plow. So they would have this thing on them through which the farmer would be able to direct them this way and that way. But in my vision of it, it's not heavy and dark. It's not leather. It's not like or wood like a traditional yoke would be. It's clear. It's almost plastic. It's like, I don't even really know what it's made of. It's transparent and it's light as a feather, but it's still keeping you down. And so as I'm looking at that further, you lift it up, you take it off, and now all of a sudden it's like, whoa, I didn't know there was all that sky up there. You were so used to looking down that you didn't realize it was there. And as you take it off, even though it wasn't heavy, it's literally like your spirit lightens up. And now you have visions of things beyond. And more importantly than things beyond, that sense of space coming to you. Now, the other thing that I saw, which came boom a few hours later, and it was the condor for you specifically. Now, the condor is, I don't know if you're aware of, it is considered to be the largest bird of prey there is. It's huge. It's got a magnificent wingspan. It's extremely powerful. And it's considered sacred in several cultures. One of the things that it's known for, from a gross perspective, just in terms of, sensibilities, they eat dead carcasses. They clean the bones so that what it's doing is it's preventing rotting flesh from polluting things. They actually are cleaning things up. They're an essential part of the environment. But not only that, they are nourishing themselves with it. And when you look at what the spiritual context is for the condors, one of the things they are associated with is exactly that. Helping people learn from things that are gone, that are over, that are done, and using whatever is there as nourishment to move up and beyond, just the way they use that form of food to nourish them so that they can grow and fly and do all the things they're supposed to be doing. What's fascinating to me about this is that they're also connected to, they're not just intermediaries. They're so high flying, so they're known. They bring in the ability for clear sight, for long vision. They bring in the energy of being able to see things from an elevated frequency in terms of your connection. And they're not only considered to be messengers from spirit, but they're also, interestingly enough, the ones that are said to be able to bring your messages to spirit, not just from spirit to you, but from you to spirit. Now, what's interesting then is as I pull your cards, I'm looking at this and I'm going, I think all of this really makes sense. Because what I'm getting here is liberation, loss or liberation. You're also getting grace, which is really very much about divine benevolence, guiding you to where you need to be, Excuse me. You get childhood prayers, which is talking about nurturing and growing and allowing the feminine to come to life, in a divine sense, to be able to perceive the feminine energy in a divine way. And then you've got there is another me, which is reminding you that you are in a higher energy, that your soul, your spirit exists, is part of you. You are part of it. You are it. This is just things you're taking on to express it, your personality and your body. So what I'm getting with this, my dears, is this. It feels to me as I'm working with you as though I want to say it's really time for you to look at what it is that's holding you here that appears to be invisible. it doesn't show, but it's keeping your head down. The difference is when you take it off like this and you get to look up and you see the sky and space, what you also have now is a new story about who you are. You are no longer somebody who has to exist only in this mode of head down, get it done. The thing is, it's not always easy to take chances. Two things came to mind. Okay, one is, it's not easy to lean into the idea of yourself as an expanded consciousness, as a part of spirit, when you have battled with not being good enough, not feeling good enough, when you've been experiencing a sense of shaming, guilting, feeling unworthy, any of those things that often as kids we do take on for various different reasons. It's hard to lean into the idea that you are a higher conscious being because then that means you have great value. You just are. The other thing that is difficult is when you haven't had support, the kind of support that your very specific personality needed in life, it's really hard to trust that you're going to get support from the divine, because if you didn't get it from the people around you that you were supposed to be getting it from, how can you trust that you're going to get it from somebody or something you've never even met? But this is what I feel the condor is telling you. It's telling you it's there. It's telling you, yes, grace is there. You are an evolved soul. You have the ability to be free of this yoke that your personality and whatever shaping your mind took for whatever reason that has limited you. It's time now. It's time to get rid of it. And the childhood prayers thing, I think, is absolutely super important in this, and I'm going to tell you why. The story that came to mind, it's fast, I'll make it quick, is this. Several years ago now, when I was going through major transitions in my life, major transformations, one of which led me into not working for a period of months, and created some financial, definite, major instability for me. I suddenly woke up one day and said, this is an old story. I am familiar with this sense of restriction and financial limitation and struggling to make things work. And I sat there and I realized I was so done with the story, and that I just had to say that. I just said, universe, that's it. This is my parents' story. It is not my story. I have taken it on. I've learned what I need to learn. I'm done. I don't want it anymore. If there's more for me to learn around money, I'd like to do it in an easy way. But their story, I'm done with. I got a phone call within 2 weeks from somebody to do with my mortgage and blah, 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 blah. Everything wrapped up, transformed, miracle, 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 shifted everything, and it transformed my life. I swear to you when I say it was that moment of saying, I'm done. Thank you. I don't need it anymore. That story is the old story. That was the yoke coming off. That was me seeing sky. I didn't know how things were going to change, but I knew my message had reverberated because I knew in my heart. It wasn't just, oh, please release me from this. It's like, oh, what I just need to say is I'm done. It's not mine. It goes where it needs to go. So I'm leaving that with you because childhood prayers, I think in this case, with all of these different things that are coming up for you, is very much about whatever story you've carried from your childhood that is now playing out in a way you don't like, whether it's financial, whether it's just abundance in general. I mean, check out, do you have the friends you want? Would you like more creativity in your life? Would you like more romance, more like whatever, on whatever level? Maybe you want more spirituality, more connection to spirit, whatever you feel restricted in or deprived of. Check out, where does that story come from? And is it yours? Because if it really isn't yours, you've just taken it on. Remember, the yoke is invisible. It's light as a feather, and literally as soon as you pick it up to take it off, it evaporates. Boom, gone. And Taurus, I just want so much for you to be able to see that Things don't have to take a long time in order for you to be able to see change. Because that's one of the other things they reminded me of when I sat down to this, was that sometimes you get so used to working on things over a long period of time to make something come together that you can think that that's the way it's always got to be, but it doesn't. When you start really connecting with, oh, that's not my story. Not sure what my story is, but that's not it. And when you start connecting and talking with spirit and acting as though it's there, when you start, and you can do it in a playful way. That's the other thing. It doesn't all have to be work. You can play with this stuff. Lean into grace, my dears. Trust that whatever story from your childhood you no longer want to carry as your story. Doesn't mean that it hasn't had a, doesn't mean that you're denying that it's had a part and an effect on you. It has. And is it a story you need to continue? Is it a story you desire to continue? Okay? I'm going to leave you with that, Taurus. I think this is beautiful. There's one more thing they wanted me to remind you of. Okay, so it was the idea that you don't have to wait a long time for things to change, that they can change quickly. They want to reinforce, please, the idea of speaking to spirit, that if you have felt as though you've been alone a lot, working on your things without the support that you need necessarily from family, friends, community of any kind, please take the lesson from the condor. Start speaking to your angels, your guides, your spirit, God. Create a connection, because remember, it's not just you and your personality. Your higher conscious mind is there. And if you can't feel comfortable talking to your angels, your guides, beings from another dimension that are here to help you, speak to your soul. Talk to your soul. That you know you've got. You know it. You know it, Taurus. I'm going to leave you with that now. Much love, and take care.